Have you ever seen an elephant stop traffic? In Botswana, they don't just roam the savannah. They saunter through cities unbothered by the honking horns or flashing lights, like majestic commuters on their morning stroll. And just a few hours away, you'll find yourself walking on what looks like the surface of the moon. Endless white salt flats stretch so far into the horizon, you forget the world ever had edges. But Botswana isn't just surreal landscapes and wild encounters. It's a country where weddings are rare. Not because love is lost, but because people have redefined it. Young couples living happily without rings, rituals, or societal rules. It's also one of the few places in the world where living costs can hover around $600 a month, not in survival mode, but in soulful simplicity. So what kind of place is this really, a land with ancient tribes clicking stories from 22,000 years ago, where diamonds sparkle underground, but water is the real treasure, and where the wild isn't just outside, it's in the spirit of the people. But what no one expected was this: a quiet revolution in how to live, love, and be free. Welcome to the Global Trail, where we blaze paths across our world. And today, we begin in Botswana. When you think of Africa, what comes to mind? Maybe it's the roar of lions on golden plains, or the colors of bustling markets. Maybe it's poverty or politics, or postcards of safari jeeps cutting through dust. But Botswana rewrites all of that. Here, ancient traditions breathe alongside modern life. It's a place where digital startups rise from the red earth, yet the sand people still hunt by moonlight with handmade bows. It's where youth wear bold fashion and brighter smiles, living in harmony with a culture that doesn't force them into boxes or ceremonies, just honesty and choice. This country doesn't shout for attention. It whispers with confidence, a place that stayed under the radar not because it has less to offer, but because it offers more than most dare promise. And if you've ever longed for a destination that challenges your assumptions, touches your soul, and shows you how simple life and happiness can truly be, then Botswana isn't just a stop on the map. It's the journey you didn't know you needed. The heart of Southern Africa, geography and people. What if there was a place where four countries shook hands at the same point on Earth? That place exists, and it's called the Quadripoint. Here, Botswana brushes shoulders with South Africa, Namibia, Zambia, and Zimbabwe. In just a few steps, you can be in four nations, four stories, four worlds. It's a geopolitical miracle, hiding in plain sight. And it sets the tone for everything else. Botswana is understated, but extraordinary. Landlocked in the heart of Southern Africa, Botswana doesn't scream for attention. Its beauty is quiet, deliberate, the kind that unfolds slowly like a sunrise over the Kalahari. At its center lies Gaborone, or Gabs, as the locals lovingly call it, a city where tradition and modernity walk side by side. Named after Chief Gaborone, a 19th-century visionary, the capital pulses with government buildings, medical centers, art venues, and open-air food stalls where grilled meat and music mix like old friends. But Botswana's soul doesn't live in its skyline. It lives in its people. Over 80% of the population belongs to the Tswana ethnic group. They speak Setswana with lyrical ease, switch to English when needed, and navigate life with a calm warmth that's instantly disarming. There's a phrase they use, pula. It means rain. But in a country where rain is rare, it's also used to say cheers, to wish blessings, to celebrate life. Imagine a society where the word for survival is also the word for joy. And that's Botswana, a place where borders blur not just on the map, but in how people connect. Where humility isn't weakness, And stillness isn't silence. It's a living story waiting to be heard. A delicate balance, Botswana's tourism philosophy. What if the rarest travel experiences were rare on purpose? In a world obsessed with viral views and overcrowded hotspots, Botswana chose a different path, one that favors depth over mass, meaning over numbers. Every year, only around 300,000 visitors are allowed into the country. That's fewer than some single resorts in Bali or Paris receive in a week. Of those, just a fraction, around 40,000 actually venture into Botswana's wild heart. Why? Because here, tourism isn't a business. It's a sacred exchange. This philosophy is called high value, low impact. It means you don't just snap a photo of a lion behind a fence, you lock eyes with it, unfiltered in its natural kingdom. It means you don't follow crowds, you follow instincts, paths blazed by nature herself. I remember a story from a solo traveler who camped near the Okavango Delta. At dawn, a herd of elephants passed silently within meters of her tent. No fences, no warnings, just the breath of the wild, reminding her she was only a guest. And yet, it's not about danger. It's about presence. Botswana's landscapes, from the delta's glistening veins to the Kalahari's rust-colored sands, aren't background scenery. They're living, breathing characters in the story. And the country ensures you meet them with respect, not rush. There's a price, of course. Safaris here aren't cheap. But maybe that's the point. Because when travel becomes too easy, it becomes forgettable. But when it's earned, when every step feels intentional, it carves itself into memory. Botswana doesn't try to impress you. It invites you to listen. And in that stillness, you begin to hear what most places have forgotten. That wonder isn't loud. It's sacred. The San people, living history in the modern world. What if the oldest language on Earth sounded like music made of clicks? Meet the San people, often called Bushmen, one of the oldest continuous cultures in human history. Their roots in Botswana trace back over 22,000 years long before borders flags or even written words. And yet, they're still here. While cities like Gaborone hum with smartphones and streaming the San live in circular huts made from branches and grass. No concrete, no air conditioning, just the earth, the stars, and the rhythm of nature. Their language, a stunning symphony of clicks, whistles, and tones, isn't just communication. It's heritage in motion. I remember hearing a San elder named Kung speak, and it was as if time folded into sound. To outsiders, it felt otherworldly. To him, it was simply home. And yet, what's most surprising isn't their survival, it's their serenity. There's no bitterness in their way of life, no sense of lack. They don't cling to the past, nor do they chase modernity. They simply live, present, grounded, connected. But perhaps the most unexpected twist, their philosophy of love. Among the San, relationships are not bound by paperwork or protocol. People are free to choose and to change. No ceremonies, no contracts. Just connection, trust, and shared moments under the sun. Take the story of a young San woman named Nika, who once said, "We love like the wind." You don't see it, but you feel it. And when it changes direction, we follow. In a world that often defines love with diamonds and documents, this quiet freedom feels almost revolutionary. Their society is not perfect. They face pressure from modernization, climate challenges, and sometimes marginalization. But their resilience lies not in resistance, it lies in harmony, with the land, with time, and with each other. To walk among the San is not to step back in time, it's to remember what time tried to make us forget. That simplicity isn't primitive, it's powerful. Youth and freedom. Redefining life at $600 a month. What if happiness didn't cost a wedding or a mortgage? In Botswana, a quiet cultural shift is unfolding, led not by policy, but by youth. You'll notice it in the way they walk, relaxed, confident, expressive. The young generation here isn't chasing luxury. They're crafting lives on their own terms. Love. It's no longer a ring and vows affair. Many couples choose to live together, raise families, even build businesses, without ever stepping into a church or courtroom. Take Nettie and Cabello, two digital freelancers living in Gaborone. For 7 years, they've shared rent, Netflix passwords, and life's little battles without a single paper binding them. Why spend thousands on one day? Nettie laughs when we're building every day together. Their story isn't an outlier, it's a trend. Partly, it's practical. Weddings here can cost as much as a house. But more than that, it's philosophical. For many, Botswana youth love is measured not in ceremony, but in consistency. And what's perhaps even more surprising, they do all this on budgets that would make most urbanites blink. Living in Botswana, even in cities, can cost as little as $600 a month. That covers rent, food, transport, and a little room for joy. Of course, it depends on lifestyle, but the essentials. Surprisingly affordable. Yet this isn't about scraping by. It's about scaling back and still living full. When you strip away the noise, the chase, the comparisons, you find something quieter, but deeper. A kind of freedom rooted not in excess, but enough. In Botswana, less isn't lacking. It's clarity, diamonds and dilemmas, what's truly precious. What if the most valuable thing in a diamond country wasn't a diamond? Botswana sparkles quite literally with some of the world's finest gems. It's the second largest diamond producer on Earth, trailing only Russia. In 2021, a 1098-carat stone was unearthed here nearly the size of a chicken egg. That single gem could buy a fleet of Teslas or a private island, maybe both. Diamonds fuel the economy, making up over 20% of Botswana's GDP. They've built schools, hospitals, and infrastructure. And yet beneath all that shimmer lies a quieter truth. The most precious resource in Botswana is water. In a land where the sun rules most days and rain arrives more as a blessing than a forecast, water is both currency and lifeline. With average annual rainfall barely scratching 300 millimeters, every drop matters for people, crops, animals, and future generations. Ask any local, and they'll tell you diamonds make headlines, but water makes life. This paradox plays out daily. While luxury resorts dazzle tourists with champagne and chandeliers, local families collect rainwater in buckets, store it in underground tanks, and monitor every faucet drip like a heartbeat. It's a reminder that true wealth doesn't always glitter. And it forces a deeper question. What happens when what we value most can't be mined? In Botswana, the answer lies in balance. Yes, diamonds are celebrated, but so is conservation. Water-saving infrastructure, protected wetlands, and sustainable farming projects all reflect a country striving to protect what truly matters. Because at the end of the day, a diamond may shine in the sun, but water lets the sun rise again tomorrow. Wildlife wonders, where nature moves freely. What if your morning traffic jam involved a herd of elephants? In Botswana, that's not a metaphor, it's a commute. Here, nature isn't framed behind fences or filtered through zoo glass. It moves freely with rhythm and grace across vast landscapes where humans are the guests, not the landlords. Take Chobe National Park, home to over 120,000 elephants, the highest concentration in Africa. Picture this sunrise by the river mist, curling above the water, and a family of elephants silently emerging from the tree line. No engine hum, no camera flashes, just breath and awe. And then there's the Okavango Delta, a UNESCO World Heritage Site and one of Earth's rare inland deltas. A maze of life hippos wading through lily pads, crocodiles lurking beneath glassy currents, and over 500 bird species composing a symphony overhead. But the wild here isn't just spectacle, it's spiritual. Locals speak of lions as ancestors of leopards, as guides of the land as a sacred living map. Even meerkats, standing like tiny sentinels in the Kalahari, are part of this sacred choreography, watching warning whispering across the dust. And in these moments, when you lock eyes with a cheetah or hear an elephant trumpet under starlight, you're no longer a tourist. You're part of something older than borders, wilder than words, more human than most cities ever allow us to be. So what is Botswana really? It's not just salt flats that shimmer like alien planets or elephants parading through city streets. It's not just ancient languages made of clicks or weddings reimagined as choices, not obligations. Botswana is a quiet rebellion against excess, against rush, against the myth that more always means better. Here people live simply not because they have to, but because they've chosen to. They measure wealth in time, in connection, in breath. A shared meal under the stars, a walk without fences, a life lived not louder, but fuller. And that's the twist, isn't it? In a world obsessed with luxury, Botswana reminds us that peace is the rarest luxury of all. That freedom isn't found in five-star hotels or infinite Wi-Fi, but in wide skies, open hearts, and enough. So, as you log off, step away, or maybe book your own journey, remember this: sometimes the places that change us most are the ones that never tried to. Botswana didn't try to impress you. It invited you to remember. Thanks for journeying with the Global Trail. If Botswana stirred something in you, a curiosity, a calm, a calling, don't keep it to yourself. Share your thoughts in the comments. We read every single one. Would you blaze this trail with us? Type adventure below if you're ready. And tell us, where should the Global Trail head next? Your dream destination might just be our next stop. If you haven't already, hit that subscribe button, because we're just getting started, and the world is wide. We'll see you on the next trail.